your slide is visible, sir?
Yeah,
Okay.
visible, sir, visible. You can start your presentation and please conclude within the stipulated time.
Okay, sir. Okay. Good morning, all dignitaries and participants. Today, I am Vinit Sinha going to present a research paper entitled Analysis Techniques for Network Vulnerability Scanning in Ubuntu Linux Environment under the guidance of my PhD guide, Dr. V.M. Thakre. So let's discuss that is all we know that today's IT world influenced by open source softwares, especially in case of operating system, and it is very useful in case of the server platform in both physical and virtual environment. With this vast use of open source software, in our case Ubuntu for server hosting, many threat actors launched their offensive tools to gather information for destructive purpose. Usually many intruders try to intercept this client server connection for exploiting dedicated and confidential information. So as a result, we perform analysis of vulnerability scanning using Nessus, Qualys and OpenVS tools for assessing vulnerability in class of complexity and severity. So in this that is today's internet world become widely spread and open all network region for both defender and attacker. Sometimes security can be breached at any side of internal as well as the external intruder. Our explain analysis techniques in Ubuntu Linux environment, as Ubuntu is one of the popular Debian class operating system and it has a wide variety of flavors for network admins and users. So at the literature part, I have performed the various quality literatures among that are on the screen. Now next part we go, that is diagram, that is network vulnerability assessment structure. So given diagram shows structure of network vulnerability assessment. It includes the involvement of threat actors, that is at this side. For searching and vulnerability system, here Ubuntu system supports Nessus, Qualys and OpenVS scanner, which is used as an assessment in vulnerability risk area in a loop pattern. For this, we import the vulnerability management program to detect, manage and restructure network vulnerability. Now, as a method part, we use the life cycles of the vulnerability management. So, which have the 6 phases, that is discover, prioritize assess, report, remediate and verify. So, these are the quite special things that we are using while about the vulnerability assessment, that we discover have the include of the details of network, host, client and the OS details. Priority assets include the mainly responsible for categorization of assets in a group. Assets, it includes useful factor which can be eliminated based on threat criticalness and the classification. The reports generates a report for security plan, suspicious activity and the known vulnerabilities. Remediate phase controls and execute the scanning progress on base of priority. At last, verify. In this phase, vulnerability auditing take place on basis of threat eliminated. So next, the first tool is the Nessus vulnerability scan. So this is the screenshot implies that our work. I am taking the screenshot from my laptop. So given figure shows critical details of vulnerability in terms of the general category as low, medium and high. It explains the SSH services to provide support to weak encryption algorithms at the bottom side. You can see it. Using Nessus, we determine the complexity of vulnerability in terms of SSH service support, that is secure sharing. Our next tool is the quality vulnerability scan. In this figure, quality scan reports regarding open source SSL, that is secure socket layer. Here we use web application management tool for FQDN, that is fully qualified domain name. Here Qualys displays the status for new, approved and the RUG domain name. And the third tool, that is the similarly we use the OpenVS, that is vulnerability assessment scanner. The diagram shows the detailed structure of it. And you see that the first, that there is the OpenVS server here used for scanning network system. Second is the OpenVS client, that is at the bottom side. You can see it is used for establishing GUI connection. Third is the OpenVS feed, at here. You can see the detail. And the last component is the NSL, that is Nessus attached scripting language, which is used the features of Nessus scanning. As a part, we implement the number of factors. That is for analyzing severity of vulnerability, we implement CVSS, that is Common Vulnerability Scoring System. So given table shows the 6 different measures scored by CVSS. You can see the number of factors. Each scanner tool has we categorize in these 6 major patterns. So here are some purposes and the measurement details. So we see the next one, that is the result and evaluation. Now, after comparing all these tools on the basis of the user review and the CVE, we plot this graph which required the number of factors, that is meet requirement, ease of use, ease of setup, ease of administrator, quality of support, ease of business, and the product directions. So this result provides the variety of this different type of tools in the factor of the scaling 1 to 10. Now we conclude that is at the end of assessment techniques, we found the Nessus scanning tool is a more effective than other. For managing network traffic, it supports both physical and the virtual environment, especially when we want to build a virtual cloud platform for the virtualization of VMware or number of tools. We prefer this Nessus tool. For web hosting, in future we plan to implement the scanning techniques in Ubuntu Pro. So here Pro means for the production and the professional in AWS cloud platform. So for this research, I performed these references into, and the last one is the thank you.
Hello, Lancer. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. So we can move to the next session.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. So we can move to the next session and the paper